Hello everyone and welcome back to Bible Quizzes. We have 3 rounds today. Let's get started. Round 1. True or false? Amram, Moses' father, married his father's sister. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 6:20. Now Amram took for himself Jochebed, his father's sister, as wife, and she bore him Aaron and Moses, and the years of the life of Amram were 137. The Israelites said they preferred death in Egypt to the wilderness journey. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 16:3. And the children of Israel said to them, "Oh, that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the pots of meat and when we ate bread to the full." Moses had sent back his wife Zipporah to her father. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 18:2. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back. The Lord attempted to kill Moses on his way to Egypt. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 4:24. And it came to pass on the way at the encampment, and the Lord met him and sought to kill him. According to the dietary laws, the Israelites were forbidden to eat locusts. True or false? You have 10 seconds. False. Leviticus 11:22. These you may eat the locust after its kind, the destroying locust after its kind, the cricket after its kind, and the grasshopper after its kind. According to the offerings of the atonement, a scapegoat was released into the wilderness. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 16:10. But the goat on which the lot fell to be a scapegoat shall be present alive before the Lord, and to let it go as a scapegoat into the wilderness. The Israelites circumcised their children in the wilderness. True or false? You have 10 seconds. False. Joshua 5:5. For all the people who came out had been circumcised, but all the people born in the wilderness on the way as they came out of Egypt had not been circumcised. Joshua cursed the city of Jericho after breaking down its walls. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Joshua 6:26. Then Joshua charged them at the time, saying, "Cursed be the man before the Lord who rises up and builds the city Jericho. He shall lay its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest he shall set up its gates." Caleb was frail in his old age and couldn't fight. True or false? You have 10 seconds. False. Joshua 14:10-11. Ever since the Lord spoke this word to Moses while Israel wandered in the wilderness, and now here I am this day, 85 years old. As yet I'm as strong this day as on the day that Moses sent me. Moses didn't give the inheritance to the Israelites only Joshua did. True or false? You have 10 seconds. False. Joshua 13:29. Moses also had given an inheritance to half the tribe of Manasseh. It was for half the tribe of the children of Manasseh according to their families. Moses considered himself a man of uncircumcised lips. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 6:13. But Moses said before the Lord, Behold, I am of uncircumcised lips, and how shall Pharaoh heed me? Isaiah considered himself a man of unclean lips. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Isaiah 6:5. So I said, Woe is me, for I am undone, because I am a man of unclean lips, and I dwell in the midst of a people of unclean lips. For my eyes have been the King, the Lord of hosts. God commanded Jeremiah not to marry a Hebrew wife. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Jeremiah 16:1-2. The word of the Lord also came to me, saying, You shall not take a wife, nor shall you have sons or daughters in this place. Jealous is among the names of God. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Exodus 34:14. For you shall worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous God. Nazarites were allowed to drink wine. True or false? You have 10 seconds. False. Numbers 6:2-3. When either a man or woman consecrates an offering to take the vow of Nazarite to separate himself to the Lord, he shall separate himself from wine and similar drink. Samson was a Nazarite. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. Judges 16:17. That he told her all his heart, and said to her, No razor has ever came upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If I am shaven, then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak. Eli's eyes were dim in his old age. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. 1 Samuel 4:15. Eli was 98 years old, and his eyes were so dim that he couldn't see. Samuel's sons were righteous. True or false? You have 10 seconds. False. 1 Samuel 8:1-3. Now it came to pass when Samuel was old that he made his son judges over Israel. They were judges in Beersheba, but his sons didn't walk in his ways. They turned aside after dishonest gain, took bribes, and perverted justice. Samuel was displeased when the Israelites asked for a king. True or false? You have 10 seconds. True. 1 Samuel 8:6. But the thing displeased Samuel when they said, "Give us a king to judge us." So Samuel prayed to the Lord. There was a time when Israelites didn't have spears for going to war. True or false? 15 seconds. True. 1 Samuel 13:22. So it came about on the day of battle that there were neither sword nor spear found in the hand of any of the people who were with Saul and Jonathan, but they were found with Saul and Jonathan his son. So let's get started into round 2, multiple choice questions, 2 points each. What is the fifth book in the Old Testament? Leviticus, Joshua, Numbers, Deuteronomy. You have 10 seconds. Deuteronomy. The book of Deuteronomy is the fifth book in the Old Testament after Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers. In which book is the first census of the children of Israel conducted? Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy. You have 10 seconds. Numbers. The first census of the nation of Israel is recorded in Numbers. Numbers 1-2 take a census of all the congregation of the children of Israel, by their families, by their fathers' houses, according to the number of names every male individual. Which tribe of Israel was omitted from the census? Judah, Benjamin, Dan, Levi. You have 10 seconds. Levi. Numbers 1:48. Only the tribe of Levi you shall not number, nor take a census of them among the children of Israel. What was the age requirement for one to be included in the census? 18 years old and above, 30 years old and above, 20 years old and above, 25 years old and above. 15 seconds. "30 years old and above." Numbers 1:3. From 20 years old and above, all who are able to go to war in Israel, you and Aaron shall number them by their armies. On which mountain did Moses encounter the burning bush? Hermon, Horeb, Sinai, Hebron. You have 10 seconds. Horeb. Exodus 3:1-2. He led the flock to the back of the desert and came to Horeb, the mountain of God, and the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire from the midst of a bush. The bush was burning with fire, but the bush was not consumed. What did God command Moses to take off because the place was holy? His robe, his belt, his hat, his sandals. You have 10 seconds. His sandals. Exodus 3:5. Then he said, "Don't draw near this place. Take your sandals off your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground." Where did Moses get water for the Israelites when they complained of thirst? A rock, a river, a well, a sea. 15 seconds. A rock. Exodus 17:6. Behold, I will stand before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water will come out of it, that the people may drink. And Moses did so in the sight of the elders of Israel. In which place did the Amalekites come to fight the Israelites in the wilderness? Sinai, Horeb, Rephidim, Kadesh. 15 seconds. Rephidim. Exodus 17:8. Now Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. What did Zipporah use to circumcise her son? A sharp stone, a flint, a knife, a shell. 15 seconds. A sharp stone. Exodus 4:25. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son and cast it at Moses' feet and said, "Surely you are a husband of blood to me." What were the names of the two sons of Moses? Eleazar and Abihu, Hophni and Phinehas, Nadab and Abihu, Gershom and Eleazar. 15 seconds. Gershom and Eleazar. Exodus 18:2-4. Then Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moses' wife, after he had sent her back with her two sons, of whom the name of one was Gershom and the name of the other was Eleazar. On which day of the first month was the Passover celebrated? First day, 14th day, 5th day, 10th day. 15 seconds. Fourteenth day. Leviticus 23:5. On the 14th day of the first month at twilight is the Lord's Passover. Which oil did the Israelites use to light the lamp in the tabernacle? Olive oil, coconut oil, palm oil, almond oil. 15 seconds. Olive oil. Leviticus 24:2. Command the children of Israel that they bring to you pure oil of pressed olives for the light, to make the lamps burn continually. What was the age consideration of the Levites to serve in the tabernacle? 30 to 50 years, 35 to 60 years, 20 to 40 years, 25 to 50 years. 15 seconds. (30 to 50 years). Numbers 4:30. From 30 years old and above, even to 50 years old, you shall number them, everyone who enters the service to do the work of the tabernacle of meeting. For how many days was Miriam shut out of the camp for being a leper? 7 days, 10 days, 3 days, 5 days. 15 seconds. (7 days). Numbers 12:15. So Miriam was shut out of the camp 7 days, and the people didn't journey till Miriam was brought in again. Which nation was Israel fighting against when Joshua commanded the sun to stand still? Hittites, Jebusites, Amorites, Canaanites. 15 seconds. Amorites. Joshua 10:12. Then Joshua spoke to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand still over Gibeon, and moon in the valley of Ajalon. Which mountain was Caleb given as an inheritance? Sinai, Horeb, Hebron, Carmel. You have 10 seconds. Hebron. Joshua 14:13. And Joshua blessed him and gave Hebron to Caleb the son of Jephunneh as an inheritance. Which tribe was omitted from receiving an inheritance? Judah, Levi, Simeon, Benjamin. You have 10 seconds. Levi. Joshua 13:33. But to the tribe of Levi Moses had given no inheritance. The Lord God of Israel was their inheritance, as he had said to them. Which prophet prophesied that a virgin would conceive and bear a son? Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah, Amos. You have 10 seconds. Isaiah 7:14. Therefore the Lord himself will give you a sign. Behold, the virgin shall conceive and bear a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. Which nation did Amos prophesy that God would judge for raping bellies of pregnant women? Moab, Ammon, Edom, Philistia. You have 10 seconds. Ammon. Amos 1:13. Thus says the Lord, for 3 transgressions of the people of Ammon, and for 4 I will not turn away its punishment, because they ripped open the woman with child in Gilead, that they might enlarge their territory. How were witches, mediums, and sorcerers handled in Israel? Imprisoned, banished, put to death, exiled. 15 seconds. Put to death. Leviticus 20:27. A man or a woman who is a medium or who has familiar spirits shall surely be put to death. They shall stone them with stones. Their blood shall be upon them. What punishment was given to a man who unlawfully slept with his brother's wife? Stoning, childlessness, exile, imprisonment. 15 seconds. Childlessness. Leviticus 20:21. If a man takes his brother's wife, it's an unclean thing, and he uncovered his brother's nakedness. They shall be childless. What punishment was given to a woman who was intimate with a beast? Exile, public humiliation, imprisonment, death. 15 seconds. Death. Leviticus 20:16. If a woman approaches any animal and mates with it, you shall kill the woman and the animal. They shall surely be put to death. Their blood is upon them. What would happen to an unfaithful woman if she drank the jealous sacrifice water? She would die, she would become blind, her belly would swell and thigh would rot. she would lose her voice. You have 10 seconds. Her belly would swell and thigh would rot. Numbers 5:27. If she has defiled herself and behaved unfaithfully toward her husband, that the water will enter her and become bitter, and her belly will swell and thigh will rot, and the woman will become a curse among her people. During the genocide war, how many Benjamite sling-using soldiers were left-handed? 1,000, 800, 700, 600. You have 10 seconds. $700. Judges 2016. Among all these people were 700 select men who were left-handed. Everyone could sling a stone at a hair's breadth and not miss. For how many years did Naomi and her family stay in the land of Moab? About 10 years, about 2 years, about 8 years, about 5 years. You have 10 seconds. About 10 years. Ruth 1:3-4. Then Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died, and she was left and her 2 sons. Now they took wives of the women of Moab. The name of the one was Orpah, and the name of the other Ruth, and they dwelt there about 10 years. What name did Naomi say she should be called for her bitterness? Sila, Tula, Zerah, Mara. You have 10 seconds. Mara. Ruth 1:20. But she said to them, "Don't call me Naomi, call me Mara, for the Almighty has dealt very bitterly with me." Where was Samuel's home? Shiloh, Ramah, Bethel, Gilgal. You have 10 seconds. Ramah. 1 Samuel 7:17. But he always returned to Ramah, for his home was there. There he judged Israel, and there he built an altar to the Lord. Whom did God say the Israelites had rejected when they asked for a king? Samuel, God, Moses, David. You have 10 seconds. God. 1 Samuel 8:7. And the Lord said to Samuel, "Heed the voice of the people in all that they say to you, for they have not rejected you, but they have rejected me, that I should not reign over them." Which of David's wives were taken captive when the Amalekites attacked at Ziklag? Michal and Bathsheba, Ahinoam and Abigail, Abigail and Michal, Bathsheba and Ahinoam. You have 10 seconds. Ahinoam and Abigail. 1 Samuel 35. And David's 2 wives, Ahinoam the Jezreelites and Abigail the widow of Nabal the Carmelite, had been taken captive. What was Nabal, Abigail's husband, known for? Wisdom, folly, kindness, bravery. You have 10 seconds. folly. 1 Samuel 25:25. Please let not my Lord regard this scoundrel Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, but I, your maidservant, didn't see the young men of my Lord whom you sent. To which people group did Malachi prophesy? Judah, Babylon, Israel, Edom. You have 10 seconds. Israel. Malachi 1:1. The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi. Who prophesied to Zerubbabel about completing the rebuilding of the temple? Zechariah, Joel, Haggai, Malachi. You have 10 seconds. Zechariah 4:9. The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of the temple. His hands shall also finish it. Then you will know that the Lord of hosts has sent me to you. Which prophet prophesied that the glory of the later temple shall be greater than the former? Haggai, Malachi, Zechariah, Joel. You have 10 seconds. Haggai 2:9. The glory of the later temple shall be greater than the former, says the Lord of hosts, and in this place I will give peace, says the Lord of hosts. Which king destroyed the temple of the Israelites? Sennacherib, Pharaoh, Nebuchadnezzar, Cyrus. You have 10 seconds. Nebuchadnezzar. Ezra 5:12. But because our fathers provoked the God of heaven to wrath, he gave them into the land of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, the Chaldean, who destroyed this temple and carried the people away to Babylon. Nehemiah was cupbearer to which king? Cyrus, Artaxerxes, Darius, Xerxes. You have 10 seconds. Artaxerxes. Nehemiah 2:1. And it came to pass in the month of Nisan, in the 20th year of King Artaxerxes, when wine was before him, that I took the wine and gave it to the king. Now I had never been sad in his presence before. What was the extent of territory promised to Israel according to Genesis? Nile to Euphrates, Nile to Tigris, Red Sea to Jordan, Sinai to Tigris. You have 10 seconds. Nile to Euphrates. Genesis 15:18. On the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, to your descendants I have given this land, from the river of Egypt to the greater river, the river Euphrates. What was the extent of the territory of King Ahasuerus, the husband of Queen Esther? From Greece to Persia, from Jerusalem to Nineveh, from Egypt to Babylon, from India to Ethiopia. You have 10 seconds. From India to Ethiopia. Ether 1:1. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus, this was the Ahasuerus who reigned over 127 provinces from India to Ethiopia. Why did King Ahasuerus remove Queen Vashti from her possession? She was conspiring against the king. She insulted the king publicity. She refused to heed the king call. She favored another prince. You have 10 seconds. She refused to heed the king's call. Ether 1:12. But Queen Vashti refused to come at the king's command brought by his eunuchs. Therefore the king was furious, and his anger burned within him. Which of King Ahasuerus' servants sought to harm him? His doorkeepers, his cooks, his armor bearers, his commanders. You have 10 seconds. His doorkeepers. Esther 2:21. In those days, while Mordecai sat with two of the king's eunuchs, Bigthan and Teresh, doorkeepers, became furious and sought to lay hands on King. Why was Haman furious with Mordecai and intended to harm all the Jews? Mordecai challenged Haman to a duel. Mordecai refused to bow to Haman. Mordecai took Haman's possession. Mordecai revealed Haman's plot. You have 10 seconds. Mordecai refused to bow to Haman. Esther 3:5-6. When Haman saw that Mordecai didn't bow or pay him homage, Haman was filled with wrath, but he disdained to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had told them of the people of Mordecai. So let's move into round 3, short answer, 3 points each. Let's get started. Which disease did Satan bring upon Job? You have 10 seconds. Boils. Job 2:7. So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and struck Job with painful boils from the sole of his foot to the crown of his head. How many generations did Job live to see? You have 10 seconds. Four generation. Job 42:16. After this, Job lived 140 years, and saw his children and grandchildren for 4 generations. What was the extent of Mordecai's authority in Ahasuerus' kingdom? You have 10 seconds. He was second to king. Esther 10:3. For Mordecai, the Jew, was second to King Ahasuerus, and was great among the Jews, and well received by the multitude of his brethren, seeking the good of his people and speaking peace to all his countrymen. What were Job's daughters known for? You have 10 seconds. Their beauty. Job 42:15. In all the land were found no woman so beautiful as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them an inheritance among their brothers. How many children did Job have after his trials? 15 seconds. 7 sons and 3 daughters. Job 42:12-13. Now the Lord blessed the later days of Job more than his beginning, for he had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. What was Jonah doing in the ship during the storm? 15 seconds. Sleeping. Jonah 1:5. Then the mariners were afraid, and every man cried out to his God, and threw the cargo that was in the ship into the sea, to lighten the load. But Jonah had gone down into the lowest parts of the ship, had lain down, and was fast asleep. How many days did Jonah say Nineveh was given before destruction? You have 10 seconds. 40 days. Jonah 3, 4, and Jonah began to enter the city on the first day's walk. Then he cried out and said, Yet 40 days, and Nineveh shall be overthrown. Which prophet prophesied that the Lord would restore what the locusts had eaten? You have 10 seconds. Joel 2:25. So I'll restore to you the years that the swarming locust has eaten, the crawling locust, the consuming locust, and the chewing locust, my great army which I send among you. Which prophet was told to write the vision on a tablet that he may run who sees it? 15 seconds. Habakkuk 2:2. Then the Lord answered me and said, Write the vision and make it plain on tablets, that he may run who reads it. What blessing did Moses pronounce over the tribe of Reuben in his last days? 15 seconds. A blessing of life and increase. Deuteronomy 33:6. Let Reuben live and not die, nor let his men be few. What blessing did Jacob pronounce over Joseph? 15 seconds. Fruitfulness. Genesis 49:22. Joseph is a fruitful buff by a well. His branches run over the wall. Who was the first son of Jacob? You have 10 seconds. Reuben. Genesis 49:3. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my might, and the beginning of my strength, the excellency of dignity, and the excellency of power. Which among Jacob's sons was referred to as a lion? You have 10 seconds. Judah. Genesis 49:9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the Bree, my son, you have gone up. He bows down, he lies down as a lion, and as a lion, who shall rouse him? What was the occupation of Joseph's father-in-law? You have 10 seconds. He was the priest of On. Genesis 46:20. And Joseph in the land of Egypt were born Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, priest of On, bore to him. What possession did Joseph occupy in Egypt? You have 10 seconds. He was governor over Egypt. Genesis 42:6. Now Joseph was governor over the land, and it was he who sold to all the people of the land. And Joseph's brothers came and bowed down before him with their faces to the earth. What was Joseph's reaction when he saw Benjamin in Egypt? You have 10 seconds. He wept. Genesis 43:29-30. Then he lifted his eyes and he saw his brother Benjamin, his mother's son. Now his heart yearned for his brother. So Joseph made haste and sought somewhere to weep. And he went into his chamber and wept there. Who said these words? As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. You have 10 seconds. Joshua 24:15. Choose for yourselves this day whom you will serve, whether the gods which your fathers served or the gods of Amorites, in whose land you dwell, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Which strategic place did Deborah sit while judging the Israelites? 15 seconds. The palm tree of Deborah. Judges 4:4-5. Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidoth, were judging Israel at that time, and she would sit under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the mountains of Ephraim. Who asked Deborah to accompany him to battle against Jabin's army? You have 10 seconds. Barak, Judges 4:7-8. Against you I will deploy Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude at the river Kishon. And Barak said to her, if you will go with me, then I will go, but if you will not go with me, I will not go. Who was David's father? You have 10 seconds. Jess, Wrath 4:17. Also, the neighbor woman gave him a name, saying, there is a son born to Naomi, and they called his name Obed. He is the father of Jess, the father of David. So congratulations guys, we have finished. Don't hesitate to tell us your score and comments. Thanks.